If you work for ExxonMobil, your savings plan at Voya is a valuable retirement tool you have access to. And most employees have never had someone walk them through what it can actually do. A small adjustment to how you're using it today may impact long-term retirement outcomes. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 4 things. First, the different ways you can contribute and what each one really means. Second, the investment options in the plan and what they actually are. Third, how to think about your savings plan as part of your bigger retirement picture. And fourth, the Mega Backdoor Roth, an advanced strategy built right into your plan that most employees never tap into. The ExxonMobil Savings Plan gives you 3 different contribution types, and understanding the difference between them is the foundation for everything else. Before tax contributions, you contribute pre-tax dollars, which means the contribution reduces your taxable income today. The money grows tax deferred, and when you withdraw it in retirement, the entire amount is taxed as ordinary income. The value here is the upfront tax deduction. This option may be appropriate if you expect to be in a lower tax bracket in retirement than you are today. Roth contributions. You contribute after-tax dollars, so there's no upfront deduction. But qualified withdrawals are generally tax-free in retirement if IRS requirements are met. The value here is long-term tax-free growth. This option tends to make sense if you expect to be in the same or a higher tax bracket in retirement, or if you simply want some tax-free dollars to draw from later for flexibility. After-tax contributions. After-tax contributions go in with already taxed dollars. The contributions themselves come out tax-free, but the growth is taxed as ordinary income when withdrawn. We'll come back to this bucket in the last section because it's the gateway to one of the most powerful advanced strategies in the plan. The IRS sets 2 separate limits each year that govern how much can go into your plan. The first is the employee contribution limit. This applies to your before tax and Roth contributions combined, with the additional catch-up amount allowed if you're 50 or older. The second is the total contribution limit. This includes everything that goes into your plan, your contributions, the ExxonMobil company match, and any after-tax contributions as well. This total limit is also higher if you're 50 or older. The savings plan lets you contribute up to 20% of your income. If 20% of your income exceeds the IRS contribution limit for the year, you can elect to have anything above that limit rolled into your after-tax contributions, up to the overall plan maximum. In other words, you don't have to stop contributing once you hit the IRS contribution limit. The plan is built to keep going all the way up to the total limit. On top of your contributions, ExxonMobil provides a generous company match into your general account. For the first 6% you contribute, the company will match 7%. This match is one of the strongest features of the plan, and the first rule is very simple. Investors should consider contributing at least enough to capture the full match. Anything less is leaving free money on the table. Once you've decided how to contribute, the next question is what to invest in. The savings plan gives you several options. Here's what each one is. ExxonMobil Stock, shares of your company stock. This is a single company position, and many long-tenured employees end up with having a significant concentration here. It deserves regular review as a part of your overall picture. One feature worth knowing about ExxonMobil stock specifically, you can elect to either reinvest the dividends back into additional shares or have those dividends distributed to you in cash. Reinvesting allows the dividends to compound and continue growing your plan balance over time. Distributing the dividends can be a useful source of cash flow if needed, but will reduce the amount building up in your plan. Also, when distributing the plan in retirement, you have some advanced options with ExxonMobil stock that you don't have with the other investment options. Equity units. This looks to closely approximate the performance of the S&P 500. This index is composed of 500 large-cap U.S. companies weighted by market value. Extended market units. This looks to closely approximate the performance of the Dow Jones U.S. Completion Total Stock Market Index. This index is composed of approximately 3,600 U.S. stocks not included in the S&P 500, and is commonly used to represent the small and mid-cap segment of the U.S. stock market. When you invest both in the equity units funds and the extended market units fund, your portfolio has exposure to the total U.S. public equity market. International equity units. This looks to closely approximate the performance of the MSCI World excluding U.S. Investable Market Index. This index is composed of approximately 3,500 international equity securities, composing approximately the top 99% of market capitalization in 22 developed market countries, excluding the United States. Bond units. This looks to closely approximate the performance of the Bloomberg Barclays U.S. Aggregate Bond Index. This broad index tracks approximately 12,000 publicly traded investment-grade U.S. fixed income securities covering the Treasury, agency, mortgage-backed, asset-backed, commercial mortgage-backed, and corporate sectors of the U.S. bond market. Balance fund units. A pre-built mix of the above options with a target balance of 35% in the equity units, 15% in the extended market units, 25% in the international equity units, and 25% in the bond units. Common assets. A capital preservation option designed for stability of principal. This portfolio is a short and medium-term fixed income fund managed by an ExxonMobil subsidiary. The subsidiary targets maintaining a weighted average portfolio maturity of approximately 1 year. This average maturity is longer than that of most money market funds, which are restricted to weighted average maturities of 60 days or less, but shorter than bond units, which has an average maturity of approximately 8 years. The right mix across these options depends on your time horizon, your other assets outside your plan, your risk tolerance, and your overall retirement picture. There's no universal answer, which leads us directly to the next section. This is one of the most common mistakes I see. Employees treat their savings plan like a standalone account, separate from everything else. But it isn't, and treating it that way can lead to poor decisions. Your savings plan is just one piece of a much larger retirement picture, and your pension is a perfect example of why this matters. Think of your pension and your savings plan as two investment vehicles working alongside each other. The pension grows with your years of service and your pay that is not directly linked to market volatility. Now imagine that you have $1 million in your savings plan invested at 100% equities, and your pension has a present value of roughly $1 million as well. On paper, your savings plan looks aggressive, but if you consider your pension as the more conservative piece of your overall retirement, when you zoom out and look at your total picture, your real allocation is closer to 50% equities and 50% conservative investments, because the pension is functioning as a more conservative piece of your portfolio. The same principle works in the other direction. If your savings plan is allocated 50% stocks and 50% bonds, and you also have a pension worth $1 million, your total retirement assets are now roughly $2 million. But only $500,000 of that is in stocks, which means your true equity allocation is closer to 25%, not 50%. The pension and the bond side of your savings plan are together making up the other 75%. And that can be perfectly fine, but it should be intentional, not accidental. Our general philosophy is to maximize what you can do inside the savings plan first, before looking at outside investment accounts to continue growing your assets. The plan gives you tax advantages and a generous company match. Once you've fully captured what's available inside the plan, then it makes sense to layer in outside accounts to keep building if you are able to. But starting outside before you fully use what's available inside the plan typically means leaving real value on the table. Now let's talk about the strategies very few employees take advantage of but can meaningfully change your retirement outcome. The Mega Backdoor Roth. A regular Roth IRA contribution is capped at a relatively small annual amount, and many high-earning ExxonMobil employees are completely phased out of contributing directly to a Roth IRA because of income limits. While a backdoor Roth IRA allows you to get past the income limits outside the plan, the Mega Backdoor Roth allows you to add even more. It uses your savings plan to potentially move tens of thousands of additional dollars per year into a Roth account, bypassing both the standard Roth IRA contribution limit and the income phase-outs. Here's how it works in 3 simple steps. Step 1. Max out your before-tax or Roth contributions to the IRS limits. Step 2. Make after-tax contributions to fill up the remaining space between what you've already contributed and the total IRS limit. Step 3. Convert those after-tax dollars into the Roth conversion account inside the plan using the in-plan Roth conversion process. This is the step that turns the after-tax bucket into a Roth bucket. Now, all future growth on those dollars becomes tax-free. Without step 3, the after-tax contributions still come out tax-free, but the growth gets taxed as ordinary income. Step 3 is what unlocks the entire strategy. Beyond your regular payroll contributions, ExxonMobil also allows you to make special after-tax contributions directly to the plan by check, using the special after-tax contribution form. This is a way to move a significant additional dollars into your plan in a single transaction, and then, if you want, convert them over to a Roth. This is one of the most underused features of the entire savings plan. For employees who have available cash flow, it helps towards maximizing all the options you have within the plan. Here's how to actually execute it. The Mega Backdoor Roth is not automatic. You have to file paperwork with Voya, and there's a few rules that matter. The in-plan Roth conversion form must be received by Voya no later than December 15th of the year you want it processed. Once the conversion is made, it is irrevocable. And while after-tax contributions themselves are not taxed on conversion, any growth on those contributions is taxed as ordinary income. So if your after-tax balance is a split 50% between contributions and 50% between growth, half of whatever you convert will be taxable. This is why converting as quickly as possible after making an after-tax contribution is so important. The sooner you convert, the less growth has accumulated and the smaller your potential tax bill. While this content is for educational purposes only, it doesn't constitute personalized tax or investment advice. You should consult with a qualified tax professional to understand how these rules apply to your specific situation. You also want to check with Voya about all the ins and outs of the process within your plan. Here's something worth pausing on. Many decisions we just walked through, the Roth before tax mix, your investment allocation, whether or not to layer in the Mega Backdoor Roth, may feel small on any given paycheck. But small adjustments today compound into very different outcomes over a long career. Think about it this way. A ship leaving port with its compass off by just 2 degrees does not drift slightly off course. Over a 3,000-mile voyage, it misses its destination by more than 100 miles. Nobody on board noticed anything was wrong. The heading felt right the whole time, but small errors do not stay small when you give them enough distance to grow. The same is true for your savings plan. A shift in your contribution rate, a slightly different allocation, or capturing a strategy you weren't using before may feel modest in a single year, but played out over 20 or 30 years of compounding, those small shifts can create a meaningful difference in where you actually end up. That is why these decisions deserve real attention now, not later. The ExxonMobil Savings Plan is one of the most well-structured 401k plans available to corporate employees, but only if you actually use it the way it was built to be used. Choosing the right contribution mix, the right investment allocation, and layering in advanced strategies like the Mega Backdoor Roth are decisions that can meaningfully impact your retirement outcome over time. If you'd like to run any of this against your specific situation, the link below will let you schedule a complimentary planning conversation with our team. We've helped many ExxonMobil employees structure their savings plan around their bigger retirement picture, and we'd be glad to help you do the same. Also, if you want to see your distribution options as you get closer to retirement, which deserves just as much attention as how you build up your plan, please click here.